leave it in the house. Don't go outside there and start talking about what is being discussed in the house. And don't start demonizing Parliament. And when you start saying that Parliament does not have powers to do anything, please, this house is the house that can make any decision, good or bad. I don't want to bring in the name of my judge the way you're saying, but we'll discuss that when the report. But I have not heard him talk. I am yet, give me evidence that he talked. I will want evidence that he talked about it. I can't accuse him for what he has not, what I've not heard. Is it true? Honorable Ministers, please, whatever is in the house should not go to the media before we conclude. You can only go and discuss after we have concluded on a resolution of Parliament. Even a resolution of Parliament, we have a PRO for Parliament that should be able to talk on what happens in Parliament. Yes.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. I am reacting to your communication under Rule 25. You will forgive some of us when the public thinks a report is ready, they think it's going to be discussed immediately. So we have to educate them that responsibility rests with the Speaker. So please, the coffee report will be discussed when the Speaker puts it on the order paper. But Madam Speaker, most important, you've told our colleagues on the front bench to admit when there are mistakes. The Honorable Kasaija, and I respect you, you are an elder. You remember how former Vice President Gilbert Bukenya ended up in Ruzira, Maxson? The Honorable Jim Mwezi was in Ruzira. Even ministers can go there. At your age, you shouldn't go to jail over an agreement. So therefore, Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for giving a motherly advice to people who are on the front bench. Because it is shameful that a former vice president who is guaranteed life, even after leaving the office of the vice president, you are not in Kororo. When prisoners and prison warders and policemen wanted to handcuff Professor Gilbert Bukenya, a policeman called Rabban is the one who intervened and said, please. What
is the procedure matter?
No, I am reacting under Rule 25 on your communication. Rabban is the one who intervened and he said, please, we are going to be ashamed as a country. Don't handcuff a former vice president. I don't want to see Elder Matia Kasaija on handcuff being taken to Ruzira. So, Madam Speaker, I was only reacting to your communication under Rule 25 to thank you for giving a mother advice to the front bench.
Thank you. Kasibwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the thousands of Ugandans that are suffering from outside, I'm standing before you, Madam Speaker, not just as a mother, but as a leader of this August House. Yesterday, on 9th May, a 23-year-old young girl, Amina Nabidi.
My communication.
It's a matter, an important matter, Madam. A 23-year-old young lady, Madam Speaker, she came to my house. She was limping, she was beaten, she was bruised, and in total pain. She told me she had just left Saudi Arabia two days back. Her story is that can bring tears to everyone. She narrated to me how she was thrown out of a third floor window of a bedroom she was working in as a housemaid for the last 9 months. Nabide's story is just one amongst the thousands of Ugandans that are suffering from those outside countries, where we have embassies, we have consulars, we have all those people that are supposed to be taking care of them. The issue at the moment, Madam Speaker, right now, Parents are sending back students to school to study, to earn good jobs. Once the good jobs don't come their way, they think they can get jobs outside, which never happens as well. We are calling for a robust situation that is going to address people working outside. The Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the embassies in these countries where our girls are suffering. A few days back, we heard of a story of a girl that jumped out of a window to her death. Madam Speaker, I implore, I call for your motherly touch in this particular reason so that those authorities that are responsible for this can be called into order to see that our Ugandans suffering there are helped before more numbers are brought to coffins. Thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister, the issue is about the Ugandan girls who are out of the country and they went to work, being mistreated. What can we do as a country in terms of the law? Last week we discussed that issue and we said we should be attaching these girls to embassies such that they have somewhere to report to.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of our younger girls and our young children suffering from those countries is not new in this House, like you have said. So as government, there are a number of steps we are taking. One, to strengthen our offices in those UAE countries by giving them more staff to work in those consular offices and in our embassies, such that they can deal with, because they have few staff in those offices. So we are going to make sure that we recruit. We are going to have a meeting between the countries concerned. For example, the minister in charge of that is coming into the country, in charge of UAE and these other countries. They are coming here. We are going to have a meeting. We have had a number of meetings with the companies that export labor and place a number of measures. However, I also want to that when these people who are suffering in those countries get challenged, they should always learn and run to our consular offices other than killing themselves. I will also inform...
Can the Prime Minister finish, then you seek the clarification?
The Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Services will come up with a comprehensive report to this House on the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honorable members, before really we proceed, as a woman, one of my ladies has lost a husband. Can we stand for a moment of silence? That is Honorable Margaret, MP of Mbarara.
May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much. And our sympathies go to Honorable Margaret, and we'll stand with her this trying time. Yes?
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. The clarification I wanted to seek from the Prime Minister. We are told here by former Minister, the Honorable Janat Mukwaya, Minister of Gender, that in Oman, when there was a ban on Ugandans going to work in those countries, in Oman, one country, 40,000 girls arrived in 1 year in Oman when there was a ban. So the clarification I am seeking is whether you now have a consulate in Oman, and whether, because Saudi Arabia is a very huge country with the administration in Riyadh, from Jeddah where many of these girls work, is about 600 kilometers. The steps that you have spoken about, do you now have a consulate in Oman, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, in all these countries?
That is going to come in the report that is going to be presented in the House. Not of that, it will come in the report because the Minister of Gender is not here. Honorable Silvani. Yes, proceed here.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, whereas Article 30 makes education a right to Ugandans, Article 30 of the Constitution of Uganda, and whereas the Act on Education empowers the Minister of Education to come up with regulations on fees increment in most of the schools in the country, the ministry has only been coming up with circulars on don't increase fees. And these circulars are not enforceable. And therefore, both government and private schools have continued to increase fees. And when they increase fees, it affects most of us members of parliament because parents run to us. My concern, Right Honourable Speaker, is that the ministry is not using its mandate of coming up with regulations that can be enforceable. And therefore, my prayer is, as a way of helping us members of parliament who are suffering because of all this that is happening in the country.
It's not about helping members of parliament, it's helping the public.
Thank you very much.
You as a member of parliament, you don't need to be helped on fees because you can afford it.
Right Honourable Speaker, I agree with you. However, when they fail, they come to us. I am paying fees for almost 50 people in school. So my concern is, can we have the minister directed to come with regulations on fees increment? 2, can we also have these USE schools and UPE schools, government providing scholastic materials so that the pressure. And finally, can the government private schools with the cheap loans so they don't have to increase fees and Ugandans suffer? Because as we talk now, there is a crisis there, the parents are not sleeping in their house, in their homes because of fees. I want to thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, though you smuggled it. Honourable Minister, the issue is the enforceability of the circular vis-a-vis regulations. We are better off having a regulation than a circular. I thought you needed. Is it on the same thing? Why don't you bring a matter on its own other than smuggling in these things? Yes?
It is really not about smuggling anything, but he has raised a critical matter, and I thought the matter of registration of candidates should be handled by the minister as he comes. Madam Speaker, information from UNEB over the week that only 50% of PLE expected were able to register, and only about 20% of UCE expected candidates were able to register by the deadline. Right, Honourable Speaker, this is a serious matter.
What was the cause?
I beg your pardon?
What is the cause?
The
cause. Why haven't they registered all the students?
They have failed to register, Right Honourable Speaker, because of the high cost of registration fees. And I really want to think that the minister can respond to that in the same time with the increment in school fees. Because, Right Honourable Speaker, the registration fees are set by UNEB. It's a government agency, which we appropriate money for here. And they go across government students and private learners. So the minister can also be able to respond to that.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, and I thank the members for raising the two critical matters. On the subject matter of the provision of the law, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, we are aware as a ministry that the law empowers the minister to put in place a statutory instrument for purposes of regulating, among others, even school fees. I want to inform Parliament that the Ministry of Education and Sports has already embarked on the process of coming up with a statutory instrument. The moment we are done internally at the ministry, approved by the top management, we will move to Cabinet, then and lay a copy of the statutory instrument for the consumption of Parliament. It is already work in progress. On the issue of the different fees for examinations, with regard to the number of and students who are candidates who have registered, UNEB informed us, and I want to say it here, that the process of registration is still ongoing for candidates, PLE, UCE, and UACE. The process is still ongoing. The figures you are quoting is the figures that they informed the country at that particular time, but the process for registration is still ongoing. And they are optimistic that by the time we close, all the candidates would have registered. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, how much is the money for registration? How much was it before and how much is it now?
Right Honourable Speaker, I would request that you give me time to consult such that I find out what is the registration as of now. I do not want to put
Honorable members, the minister is right. Now, I want the minister to come back to the House, tell us how much was the money for registration before, how much is it now, and what is the basis of the increment.
Right Honourable Speaker, may I only ask for 10 minutes and come back and inform the House?
Please. Thank you. Honorable Silwanyi.
Right Honourable Speaker, I rise on a critical matter of national importance. Right Honourable Speaker, last week, in Mawanga Parish, Buunga Sub-County, woke up to a shock when a group of individuals came to their community with agreements. They claimed to come from a company called Rwenzori Rare Metals, claiming to have discovered a mineral in the parish where these people are living. And they came, Right Honourable Speaker, to the community with the copies of agreements, asking community members to sign to forfeit their stay, and saying that they are going to compensate them when they leave their land. But Right Honourable Speaker, this is a private company. I first of all want to lay these agreements that these individuals came with. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay the agreement with the title Rwenzori Rare Metals, and in the matter of an exploration license number RL1693 issued in respect for the districts of Bujiri, Bugweri, and Mayuge districts. The exploration letter by Rwenzori Rare Metals, I beg to lay. Right Honourable Speaker, I also beg to lay the concern of the land owners in the area. I beg to lay. My prayer, Right Honourable Speaker.
What is the title of the concern?
The concern is Mawanga Parish, Buunga Sub-County District Community Land Owners Concern. Our proposal for further engagement with the Rwenzori Rare Earth Metals Limited.
Is that a concern or a consent?
It is not a consent. It is a concern, Right Honourable Speaker. And these are the concerns that they were raising to the company because they want this to be done. Right Honourable Speaker, my prayers are, one, the ministry, minerals belong to government, and these are not individual resources. I would like the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development to come and tell the country, is this a genuine company that is trying to displace our people? Are our people safe to deal with such a company? People should have this information. So I would request the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development to come up immediately and inform us so that we as the leaders know what is going on, because the population is in a total panic and people are no longer sleeping, because displacing a whole parish is something so big. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you, Adidwa. Minister will come and make a presentation to that effect. Minister of Energy, Adidwa, Sewungo. Adidwa, you are there. Sewungo, let Adidwa first present his maiden speech.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. For the record, my name is Adidwa Abdu. I represent Bukoli South in Namaingo district. Honorable Speaker, I rise on the matter concerning Musita, Namaingo, Lumino Highway. More so, from Bulamba to the junction of Chitoja, Lugala, Namaingo, Lumino. Right Honorable Speaker, this above highway was left with many challenges by the contractors, which includes: one, the water passages were left wide open, which hinders loading and offloading of our commodities from highway to the premises of our dear traders, leading to additional costs. No pavements were put in place alongside the highway within Namaingo town to provide space for people and their goods moving on foot. No humps and zebra crossing to reduce on vividly speeding vehicles at Namaingo Primary School with a population of almost 1,500 ongoing school children, and at the district headquarters being an administrative center for Namaingo. At Buinja Health Center 4, with the populated users on daily basis seeking for our pleasant services rendered by the government institutions. At the junction of Chitoja, Lugala.
What are your prayers?
My prayers, Right Honorable Speaker, is that leaders of government business, Minister of Works and Uganda National Authority should instruct the contractors of the said highway put in place pavements alongside the road, set up a roundabout at the junction, put in zebra crossing, and reduce humps within the Namaingo town so as to reduce such problems. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, first I want to thank the NRM government for connecting the country with Tamaka roads. The issue on the floor of Parliament from my brother will be handled. If there are those drainage challenges, the parking and zebra crossing, maybe some humps, if you need them to reduce on the speed, we shall handle. We are here and we shall handle.
Honorable Prime Minister, I think let the minister come and make a presentation, because I'm told the last lane of the tarmac was not put and that kind of thing. I think, and then handle it. Honorable Sewungu, Honorable Minister, you have a feedback? Okay, Honorable Seungu, finish.
Right, Honorable Speaker, let me raise this matter because it also concerns the Minister. Right, Honorable Speaker, through the Prime Minister and the Ministers and honorable members, a number of schools in this country, right, Honorable Speaker, get students from senior 1. They recruit them for senior 1, senior 5 to 6, P1 to P7. But Honorable Speaker, what is happening these days is that most of these schools, when students come to senior 4, they start sieving them. And they deny those young children who have been attending school since senior 1 to 4 that they cannot, their performance is not good. They should find another school where to do their O level from or A level. I don't want to mention schools here because I know them. But Honorable Speaker, the matter of national importance I'm laying here, that Minister of Education should come out very fast with a communication to schools that this business of refusing children who have been studying in a particular school for 4 years, but because they will not get a first grade in their school, they are advising them to look for where to register from, is unfair and not correct. Because it demoralizes students and children. Secondly, it has a financial implication on the parent. Once you stop me from registering in a school I was from senior 1 or senior 4, that means the parent has to look for another school, pay new costs for the child. And this habit is growing day by day, Honorable Speaker, because these owners of schools, they are looking at what we call an abnormal curve in education.
Information.
Yes.
Honorable Member, on the same note, schools are claiming that even UNEP has not yet come out with a mode of marking. Yes, it's on.
Honorable Minister, can you give us a feedback?
Even UNEP has not yet come up with a mode of marking whereby even parents are asking and schools are asking what system is going to be used as regards to marking and the system.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Speaker, as I conclude.
Honorable Seungu, you gave your time out. You gave it out.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, with regard to the fees payable for the different candidate classes, since 2017 to date, the examination fees have not been varied for different categories. The last revision was in 2016 and it came into effect in 2017. And for PLE candidates, each candidate pays 34,000 shillings. For UCE candidates, each candidate pays 104,000 shillings. For USCE candidates, each candidate pays 184,000 shillings. These are the approved rates that have been in existence since 2017. Thank you. Right Honourable Speaker.
Clarification? Right, Honourable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for giving those figures. But is he aware that we never shifted from the original system of Form X and now they are mandating all schools to register online, yet in many of our districts we don't even have internet there. And as a result, most of these schools are charging more money than what you are demanding as UNEB to register students online.
No.
We asked these people.
Honorable Seungu, let's differentiate. Is it the schools that are charging more money or it is UNEB?
Right on our speaker, you see, UNEB will charge its official fee.
Yes.
But to fulfill the process of registration, again, you have to pay money, including photographs. But right now, Speaker, it becomes the next on the parent and the school and the children. Because what is happening right now, Speaker, let me give an example of a district, Ajumani or Kalungu. Now, a school has never had a computer or internet. Now, it is supposed to pay 35,000 for registration of a kid. But the one in Masaka with an internet system and the computer is charging 100 per child to register the child online. So we had requested the UNEB, let us maintain the two systems, but we give priority to the older one as we build the synergies in our country. So that students can register.
like ushanga, glass beads, which were not made in Uganda, but which were being used. There is a place somewhere where the archaeology people dug and found the glass beads of 900 AD, more than 1,000 years ago.